Okay, and we back again. These are probably some of the most famous guys that I remember as a kid coming up. They were called the Herculoids. It was an old 60s version Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I watched it like in syndication, like reruns when I was a kid. But it was like one of my favorite. You know, had the giant rock ape, which was an eagle. Tandro, who was like more like a prehistoric type rhino, and had the kid Dorno and wife Tara. This little guy right here, that little ghost-looking guy, was called Gleep. This right here was a little buddy. It was a little bigger. It was called Gloop. Gloop and Gleep was more like it was more like a type of a ghost that can form any kind of shape, and it was virtually impregnable. I mean, just nothing could hurt him. And he had a flying dragon, Zoc, and Xandor, which was the leader of the team. But this is by far one of my favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoons, because he had quite a few, Space Ghosts, Frankenstein Jr., The Impossibles. So it was part of my childhood, and when I seen they had more like figures of it, I had to get it. The logo is actually in 3 pieces because this figure set came in 3 different boxes. And each of the 3 boxes spell like sort of the name. So what I did when I had all 3, I put the name together. I did like a little, kind of cutting and customizing. I displayed it on the wood base that I sort of trimmed in the shape of the logo. And next thing I know, I had me a real nice logo. This is more sort of top. I had like a few figures that I sort of threw up here. I was meaning to redo this to take some of the figures out and just put statues, but I just hadn't got around to it because some of the statues I have I put in storage, and so I had to go there and I guess try to pick out some at least that's not too big to be able to put up under here. This right here is made by Hard Hero. This is a real cool Daredevil. That they done some real nice statues. They had lost their license with the Marvel land, but they made some real nice Marvel statues. So I think what they have coming out now, because I know they just got through finishing a Transformers thing they was doing. Now they're doing the Thundercats. So I've seen a few things on that. It looks kind of promising. This right here is one of my favorite of the X-Men, Rogue. This is a Bowen Designs version of it, which is real hot. I like this so much I had to get 2 of them. This right here is what they call the X-Men's Danger Room set of Bishop. It doesn't really have sort of like his likeness. I wasn't really happy with this, but I got it because I intended on getting the whole collection. Actually, Marvel had made this. It was called Creative Licensing, but they had went under also. Creative License also done this Rogue, which is real hot. This is a pretty nice figure, especially for this to be made at the time that it made, because around this time when it was making porcelain statues, they weren't really that great with them. But this is one of the first ones that I bought that they was on the right road of making some nice looking ones, and she is hot. They did a lot of nice detail in her. That right there's like a little Christmas ornament that a friend gave me. So I just sort of threw it up in here along with it. But this Rogue, this is from the X-Men Sentinel line. There was a few other ones that Gambit made, and also Wolverine, the Magneto. I have a few of the other ones. Some of mine I didn't get a chance to display, but I plan on reorganizing this and putting them all together. This right here is the Magneto Sentinel line. He's like hovering over like a lot of bent pieces of the Sentinel. This is also made by Creative Licensing, a Marvel company. This is a real cool Magneto helmet. Actually, this thing is magnetized. I used to have paper clips and nails on top of it, but it started kind of like putting like little scratch marks on the helmet from the paint. So I just decided, to take them off. This is a real hot Mystique. That's by Bowen. Even Magneto. I'm not a real big Magneto fan, But some of the pieces on it was kind of cool, so I just, maybe picked up a few of them. Now this right here is my boy. This is the Punisher. This is the Randy Bowen version of the Punisher. He even has an M16 strapped to his chest. I've been meaning to put maybe a mirror backing on here so you can see it, because it does kind of take away some of the beauty of the statue. This right here is more the Frank Castle comic book version look of the Punisher, which I like, better. I also have Kazar and Zubu, and Jango Fett, of course, you guys know. This right here is sort of my few of my Ghost Rider pieces. Maybe like a little dark though, but maybe one day I'll do a review on it. Amongst a lot of light, and you can see it a lot better. Moving on to the next case. This was a real cool Wolverine. Had him coming out of more of that seepish tunnel from like the movie. This was a scene in the comic that was from. But this is a real nice Wolverine figure. It's made by Diamond. Now this is more of my classic Iron Man suits. This is actually from the movie version, really what they took the idea from. He also had, with this, he had changed the color later into golden, and that's when he had done the nickname the Golden Avenger. But Iron Man is like one of my more favorite characters on the Marvel line. I'm really into Iron Man. He was one of the first comics that I started buying on my own as a kid. So me and him have like a lot of history together. And I spend I buy like a lot of Iron Man stuff. So he's one of my more favorite characters. This right here is a few other X-Men figures. This right is Danger. Everyone knows the X-Men's Danger Room. In the comic book, she had became an android, and so this is actually how she looked. And then she also had wings too in it. This right here is another X-Men. This right here is called, her name is Psylocke. This is also from the X-Men Danger Room, collection. This was also made by Creative Licensing, the Marvel company. So they were good in sculpting the women. This right here is a Randy Bowen version of Beast. I sort of like this Beast a lot better because it reminds me of the kind of classic Beast. The base is actually kind of cool. I love the X-Men logo. It was two versions of this. It was the X-Men version Beast and the Avengers version Beast. Because Beast is also a member of the a member of the Avengers. I didn't really like the Avengers one too much because he had kind of like that stupid grin on his face. So I figured this one right here, he had more of that kind of savage animal kind of look, which I like more in Beast. So I went with this land. I didn't want to get two of them because I had to kind of cut down on a lot of that excessive buying. This right here is one of my favorite guys right here. This is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. There's two different versions of him. This right here is more like the classic version, the 70s version. More of the kind of blaxploitation kind of look, which I wasn't really that crazy over. But at that time, when I was buying comics, it was very few black heroes. So I sort of, he was one of my favorite. Him and the Black Panther. It's also the bust right there that I just had shown. These are made by Bowen Designs. The girl in the middle, that's Medusa. She's part of the Inhumans, which they also on the Marvel line. It's kind of cool though because they have more of like her hair, sort of holding up the whole statue, like onto the base, which was pretty cool. I sort of like that. That's kind of original, And that's one thing about statues I love, and I get plugs on when guys they do something, that's out of the norm. This is the other Luke Cage. It's more so the modern version. He's more of a guy that's sort of like, have superhuman powers, bulletproof, etc., great strength. So he always had been one of my favorite out of the Marvel line of superheroes. Okay, guys. Next, I'll be moving on to the Batman case. See you in a minute.